Japan cracks down on flashy new baby names. A cinema ceiling fell onto a woman while watching the movie Final Destination. And a 24-year-old adult was arrested for impersonating a 17-year-old high school student for over a year. These are the weird stories on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in existence. Japan cracks down on new baby names during a new naming law reform. The era of Japanese children being named Pikachu, Pudding, or even Prince may be drawing to a close as some new regulations have been designed to curb these eccentric naming practices, and they take effect this week. So you can't name your baby Prince. You can name your baby the baby formerly known as Prince. Come on. Also, who's naming their baby Pudding? What kind of name is that? You name your baby Pudding? It's a terrible, lazy name. Now, it says here this Japanese government has implemented new rules that are going to make it more difficult for parents to register flashy, strange, original baby names, an increasingly common phenomenon that has sparked both fascination and concern. Hey, Japan, just be happy anyone's making babies over there at the moment. I mean, I can't count how many stories I've covered about your government trying to use very odd incentives to get people to start making babies over there. You should probably just shut the hell up and let them name their baby whatever they want to. Be happy they're making babies, is my point. This article says for years, Japan has allowed a high degree of freedom in naming children, largely due to the nature of the Japanese writing system. Names are typically written in kanji characters that often have multiple possible readings. Parents could choose unconventional, even bizarre pronunciation for these characters, a practice that led to children being named everything from Caesar to Pikachu. Is Caesar that weird of a name? I don't think Caesar's that strange of a name. I'm sure there's some Roman children out there with the name Caesar, right? Roman babies. Romans are still naming them. Caesar's not weird. Here's what's weird. Caesar salad with anchovies. That's a weird name for a baby. Okay, so in order to avoid all this craziness, the government officials in Japan are now going to review proposed names, and they're going to block those deemed to have extreme readings or translations, or those considered contrary to a child's best interests. Yeah, well, you should always name your kid in the child's best interests. I've never understood these parents giving the children strange names. You're just setting up a very difficult time for them at school because kids are mean at school. Did you not experience school at all? What kind of schooling did you have? I would love to know your little kind bubble school experience that you think you can name your child Laptop and it's going to be okay when they get to school. Like, what are you thinking? Kids are so mean, and they harp on names first and foremost because it's very easy. Plus, the name is said aloud all the time at school because there's this thing called attendance. And so now when you name your kid Whiskey Sour, what do you think is going to happen? All right? Don't make fun of my name, Whiskey Sour. That's how my parents met, and they named me after their favorite beverage. Now, apparently, this isn't the first time Japan has intervened in naming practices. In 1994, a man was denied permission by the government to name his son Akuma, which is the Japanese word for devil, though a name meaning God was allowed. So they allowed someone to name their kid God, but not devil. Now, that sounds like some discrimination. If I can't name my baby, I don't know, maybe Satan? Shouldn't I be able to name my baby? Maybe Satan? No, I would never name my baby God or Satan or Prince or Caesar. I'm more into my favorite Japanese anime characters. So I would name my child Jubei. That's a good one from Ninja Scroll. Or Spike from the Cowboy Bebop franchise. Those are great names. I can live with that. Did you know that Iceland has a very strict naming protocol over there? Of all the countries, it's probably the most strict. Let me find the details. I believe the government has an acceptable name list that you have to choose off of. Oh, yes, here we go. They have something in Iceland called the Icelandic Naming Committee, also known as the Personal Names Committee, and they maintain an official register of approved Icelandic given names, and they govern the introduction of any new given names into the Icelandic culture. The committee was established in 1991 to determine whether new given names not previously used in Iceland are suitable for integration into the country's language and culture. A name that's not already approved on the official list of approved baby names must be submitted to the naming committee for approval. A new name is considered for its compatibility with Icelandic tradition and for the likelihood that it might cause the bearer embarrassment. Oh, so they're actually thinking of the kid as well, which I like that. It also says the names must also contain only letters occurring in the Icelandic alphabet with only occasional exceptions. A name's grammatical gender previously had to match the sex of the person bearing the name. Foreigners and their children are allowed to keep their own names, and loan words from other languages are permitted. So that's pretty wild, huh? You have to choose off an approved baby name list. So I don't know if I enjoy that sort of extreme. That's kind of to the extreme level of it. There's got to be like a good happy medium where you can pick. No, you give a huge menu of names. You could pretty much pick whatever name as long as it doesn't appear as though it's going to cause the child undue stress, anxiety, and possibly bullying throughout adolescence. Would you agree with that? Because the name is big. You're setting your child up for success or failure, one could argue, with just the name at the start. Like if you name your kid Diddy right now, Puffy or Puff, that's going to be a disaster. A ceiling collapsed on a woman while she was watching Final Destination Bloodlines at a screening in Argentina. Dang, this is some hardcore viral marketing. I would argue marketing going too far for this new movie, Final Destination Bloodlines. A woman was injured when a ceiling fell during the Final Destination screening in La Plata, echoing the plot of the film as well. Wow, the irony there. So in the movie, if ceiling falls on someone, and this woman is watching this, and a ceiling falls on her, that's crazy. That's like taking a 3D movie up to 4D. 4D death. Let me get some information from this article, find out if she survived, and if she gave the movie 2 thumbs up. The 6th film in the Final Destination franchise, known for its fictional death-defying sequences, became the backdrop for a frighteningly coincidental accident recently. Fiamma Villaverde was celebrating her birthday with her 11-year-old daughter and a friend and was struck on the knee during the film's final scenes. She was struck in the knee by a ceiling? That seems very strange. What is she doing with bringing an 11-year-old to this film? This is like a horror film, right? I've never seen any of these Final Destination movies, I admit that, but I don't think, at least from the trailers I've seen, it doesn't seem appropriate for an 11-year-old. But, all right, moving forward nonetheless. This lady's watching the movie. The ceiling falls on her. Probably something real hardcore fans would pay extra for to experience this. But let's find out if she's going to be okay. There's probably going to be some trauma involved. And it's probably going to be difficult for her to Netflix and chill anytime soon. It says here, we have a quote from her, Villaverde. She says, "There was a really loud noise. At first, we thought it was part of the movie because we were very absorbed in the movie. But then a huge object fell on me. It didn't hit me in the head because I was leaning a little bit over the armrest." And that's the end of her quote here. Looks like she took a ceiling to the knee. Pretty lucky to get out of it. Let's find out if she what her final destination was. Was it the emergency room at the hospital? She was taken to a local hospital as a precaution and suffered a bruised knee. How lucky are you, lady? A ceiling collapses, you suffer a bruised knee. Now, the subject of the collapse, Villaverde, was very critical of theater's management at the Cinema Ocho. She said the manager asked, quote, "How do you want to fix this?" And she responded, "How do I want to fix this? I'm going to file a complaint. Just imagine if they hit my daughter in the head. They're irresponsible." Well, I mean, you probably shouldn't have had your daughter there in the first place, but I understand the concerns here. This incident has caused her to miss some work at her job in a local bar. She hasn't filed a complaint yet formally, but she's contacted a lawyer. She's got limited mobility because of that bruised knee from the ceiling collapse, it seems like. I don't know what's more traumatic, her knee injury or the 11-year-old watching this film there. I'm not a parent. Would you guys bring in is this normal to bring an 11-year-old to this movie? What is the rating on this movie? Let's find out. Oh, it looks like it's rated R in the States, that's how I like my horror movies, rated R. I will not go to a horror movie unless it's rated R. as a matter of fact. That's my standard. So, yeah, I believe in the States you're not even allowed to bring a child into a rated R movie, correct? Even with a parent? Can anyone confirm this? I've never tried it because I'm not a parent, but maybe you've tried. Okay, let's wrap this story up. I can say this woman is extremely lucky that she didn't get really pummeled by that ceiling. She could have gotten totally Final Destinationed while watching Final Destination, if you know what I mean. Do you remember the old days when going to the movies wasn't this exciting? Maybe the cinema just had some vibrating seats or something. Nothing really elaborate. Now, I mean, these things are out of control. You got draft beer. You can order roasted duck, and then you got collapsing infrastructure right in your lap during the final scenes. Amazing what they're doing these days. You would think that the attendance would be on the upswing. A 24-year-old adult male was caught impersonating a 17-year-old high school student for a long time. This story is out of Perrysburg, Ohio. The police took a suspect into custody this past week after they and school officials discovered that an adult apparently masqueraded as a high school student at the Perrysburg High School, enrolling while claiming to be a 16-year-old student in January 2024. So he's been there since last year. According to the information from police and a letter from the superintendent Thomas that was sent to parents and community members, a 24-year-old Venezuelan national was arrested on felony forgery charges. So this was someone from Venezuela, a 24-year-old man. Who would want to go back to high school is my question. I mean, I have nightmares of being back in high school, don't you? I got nightmares. Do you have these nightmares where I can't open my high school locker and I'm late for class? I don't know where this nightmare comes from. First of all, when I was in high school, I didn't care if I was late for class, so even then, this wasn't a source of anxiety for me. But now, as an adult, I'm having nightmares about being late for class, can't open my locker. What is going on? I also have nightmares of losing my phone. All right, enough of me and my Freudian anxieties. The suspect here, the Venezuelan 24-year-old national, presented himself as an unaccompanied minor and enrolled at the high school under the name Anthony Labrador. According to the court records, the suspect's full name is Anthony Emmanuel Labrad Sierra. When he enrolled at the high school, he allegedly did so in accordance with federal and state requirements for students who do not have legal guardians or happen to be homeless. Oh, man, I didn't even know you could do this. You could enroll at school without a legal guardian, or if you're homeless. I mean, at that point, why would you even be going to school? Although, I guess for the meals, well, nonetheless, this guy, Labrador Sierra, allegedly applied for and received various documentations while he was enrolled at the high school, including a driver's license, a social security number, and federal temporary protective status from the U.S. Immigration Department. Wow, he had a get-out-of-jail-free-from-ICE card, it sounds like. Where do you even get these things? And if you had all these things, why not just, I don't know, go get a regular job in an apartment and, live a normal 24-year-old life? Looking at a photo of him, good-looking guy. Just get out there. Get on the dating apps. What are you doing spending time in high school for? I don't understand it. I mean, I can understand wanting to learn. That's important. But the things that you learn in high school are never really applicable in real life. Are you ever going to, I don't know, use geometry? I mean, you don't even have to conjugate a verb anymore. They got a website called Grammarly that can do it for you. I mean, no, you don't need a high school education. And anything you really do need, you could just get it on YouTube. All right, it says here also that Labrador Sierra completed a visa application and the Wood County Juvenile Court granted his guardianship to a Perrysburg family. Does this family know that he's 24 and that he's in high school? This family might be culpable as well if they had any knowledge of him attending high school. Did they suggest that he go to high school to get an education? Or, I don't know. I guess it's required to have a high school diploma to get into college, but you could just get your GED, right? You can get your GED as an adult. I'm so confused. How did he go a year? This 24-year-old, this guy's rolling up in an Escalade. He's got a 401k and a very beefy mustache, and no one's questioning. Although, I mean, I'd imagine a 24-year-old stands out, although unless he's kind of acclimated to the high school lingo, I could never go back and blend in. Picture me trying to blend in socially. So, hey, guys, what's What's cracking? Huh? You gonna YOLO this weekend? What do you say? Also, I don't own any Crocs whatsoever, so that's an indicator that I am not of this age. All right, back into the details. Investigators say they were first informed of Labrador Sierra's alleged fraudulent identity on May 14th when, during a high school baseball game, he hit a 598-foot home run, as a 24-year-old Venezuelan probably can do. I'm kidding. They found out when the family who had taken guardianship of him contacted the school. So the family told them, somebody in the family said they had received information that he was not a minor, but rather a 24-year-old adult. They didn't even know he was 24. They assumed that, I don't know, was this some sort of student exchange program, and they thought he was 17? Perrysburg School administrators spoke with Labrador Sierra, whom they said denied the claims and referenced his birth certificate, which included a date of birth that would have made him 17 as of May 14th. The district, however, told Labrador Sierra's guardians to keep him off school property while they continued to investigate. During the investigation of the situation, district leaders found social media posts by people who claimed to be Labrador Sierra's actual family. U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the Office of Immigration and Customs Enforcement worked with investigators, and it was eventually discovered that Anthony was a 24-year-old from Venezuela, had used fraudulent documents to enroll at schools, and was posing as a 17-year-old high school student. Unbelievable. Although I'm sure to some of the students this makes total sense. Like, they showed up to baseball practice, he's throwing 94-mile-per-hour gas. He was singing 50 Cent songs at the karaoke party. That was weird. 50 Cent. Jonesy, he's 24, not 44. Oh, my bad. Okay, let's get to the end of this drama. The investigation ultimately led to the township police arresting Labrador Sierra without incident on Monday during a traffic stop on the I-75. He has been booked into the county jail and faces felony forgery charges. On a more positive note, the senior class did vote him as most likely to succeed, considering he already owned a home and had a 401k. Ba-dum-bum, cha.
Hey, Todd, Daddy, how you doing?
Weird news, I'ma want you. Weird news, I'ma need you. And it hadn't been the podcast in my life. I couldn't remember the other words to it. I just remember, baby, I'ma want you. Baby, I'ma need you. They used to write such sweet love songs back then. Now it's, baby, I'ma back that ass up. Baby, I'ma twerk you. Baby, I'ma spank you. That's how they show love now these days. Anyway, shout-outs are in order. First of all, thank you for spending this time with me in the Weird AF News podcast. Please subscribe if you haven't on whatever platform you're listening to. If you're new to the show, I do Weird News 5 days a week out of a closet. On Friday, I only do Weird News from Florida. It's a pretty simple format. I try to make them funny. I don't just read the articles. I try to infuse it with some of my, what some have described as electric personality. I'm so exciting. So exciting. Yeah, so that's what we do over here. So please subscribe. Tell a friend. You can also support the show like the very supportive loyal listener named Barreled Darrelson, who bought me a coffee off my website, weirdafnews.com. So let's give Barreled Darrelson some love. What an amazing name, Barreled Darrelson. I've never seen the name Barreled before. It's like Harold, but with a B. This might be a made-up name. I'm okay with it, though. I'm okay. It makes me smile. So Barreled wrote me a nice note. It says, Jonesy, you are a breath of fresh air with a hint of high-grade marijuana. Fantastic work. Why, thank you so much, Barreled. Coming from you, Barreled Darrelson. It's a huge compliment. Appreciate you very, very much. You look like a connoisseur of podcasts. Looking very regal in this photo. Is that a monocle you're wearing in the photo? I believe this is AI created, but it's a guy with a monocle and a very, very thick, handsome beard. Barreled Darrelson. Super cool. This is probably not a real person. Did the AI just give me a tip? Amazing. Anyways, if you want to support the show like Barreled Darrelson did, please go to weirdafnews.com where you can buy me a coffee or join the Patreon. My PayPal is also there, or you can PayPal me at funnyjones@gmail.com. It's just my email. It's super simple. I got a phone number here at the show if you want to call and leave a voicemail, 646-450 2012. Please don't swear on the voicemail. Appreciate that. All right, I guess I won't keep you any further. I appreciate all of you, and good luck with your life, man.